Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Naomba tuketi tafadhali na tusikize, kwa sababu vile Rais ametuelekeza muda ni mchache, na tunataka sasa tujumuishe mambo ambayo tumeelezwa tangu asubuhi na wenzangu in summary form. Waziri wa Fedha John Bandi alituongelesha na akatupatia kwa mapana na marefu mambo ama hatua ambazo tumepiga katika kutekeleza agenda yetu tukiwa pamoja, wana UDA na ODM. Vile vile ndugu yangu gavana, mwenyekiti wa baraza la magavana, Gavana Ahmed, ametueleza jinsi tumepiga hatua mambo ya ugatuzi kwa ushirikiano wa serikali ya kitaifa na serikali zetu za kaunti. Ndugu yangu mkubwa kakangu Musalia vile vile ametueleza zile hatua tumepiga katika mambo ya kuinua ardhi ya Kenya katika jumuiya za madola, tukiongozwa na rais ambaye ni mwanadiplomasia mkuu wa taifa letu la Kenya. Mr. President, Party Leader of UDA, Senator Oburu, Party Leader of ODM, brothers and sisters, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, when I was asked to summarize what our brothers and all the other speakers said since morning, I asked myself one question, which is, if I was stopped somewhere on the streets and asked in 15 minutes, tell us what this administration has done and why this administration deserves another term in office to continue with what they have been doing, what would I say? And I want to suggest the following and persuade you to pick what you can pick and see how you can also make your own summary. Because I think, as the president has always told us, communication is personal. Every person, every political leader has a way of sending the message. And therefore, there is no one size fits all. What has this administration done in the last 4 years together? UDA and ODM and all the affiliate political parties of Kenya Kwanza, what have we done? Number one, I will have 8 points. I will run down through the 8 points in the shortest time possible. Number one, I will start with macroeconomic. I start with macroeconomic stability because this is the foundation on which the pillars which build the economy stand. Agriculture and all the other sectors we heard about, all these pillars stand on a sound macroeconomic framework. If the fundamentals of macroeconomic stability are not right, it doesn't matter the transformation you bring. That transformation will not last. And therefore, from my good brother John, the expert, the CS for the National Treasury, my age mate, we have heard that over the last 4 years under the leadership of President William Ruto, we have been able to stabilize our economy to a place where now we can do the building blocks of pushing our economy and our economic growth forward. What are the indicators of macroeconomic stability? What tells you that the economy at the general level, not household level, general level, what tells you that the economy is strong? The fundamentals are as follows. One, a strong currency. We have moved our currency from an exchange rate of 162, it went even to 165, a stable 129 for more than 2.5 years. And that shows you stability. There has not been changes in currency strength That is one indicator of macroeconomic stability. For over 2.5 years, consistent. Even with the Iran crisis, people expected there would be a spiral upwards. It didn't happen. And we want to commend the National Treasury, my brother John and the team, for a fantastic work on strengthening our currency. And the team there also includes our central bank team. Your Excellency, sir, the other indicators of macroeconomic stability is low inflation. We have taken inflation from 9.6% in 2022 to around 4 to 5%. And the recent spike in the last 1 month or so because of the Iran crisis should not worry us. John and company have told us that we are in good shape and will bring it back to that range of 4 to 5%. Low inflation. Initially, it was 9.6% in 2022. The other one is central bank, the rates, the lending rates by the central bank. Again, we have pushed that rate from a high of 13.5% to now below 9%, 8.75% or thereabout, meaning government paper is not giving investors and banks and people who buy government paper so much money as it was given before. And therefore, that has lowered the interest rates and provided credit. More people in the private sector are getting credit. That is another macroeconomic indicator. The other one is sovereign rating. Our sovereign rating has improved from 2022 to now, from CAA1 to B minus, B, a stable economy. Whether it is Standard & Poor, whether it is Moody's, our economy is being rated as a stable economy. That is another indicator of macroeconomic stability. The other thing that underlines a stable economy is national savings. The money that we borrow from the World Bank and IMF and other friendly countries bilaterally, that money is actually the savings in form of pension funds and mutual funds saved by the people of different countries. They lend it to the World Bank, they lend it to IMF, IMF and World Bank lend it to us. And if you have enough national savings in form of pension and other funds, you reduce your dependency on borrowing. And that is what has happened. Today, our pension fund kitty savings has moved. You've heard from 312, 320. I'm told those figures could be lower. I had 225 at some point. I don't think that is correct. I think the figure is around 320 billion in 2022 to 680, I am told now 700 billion shillings. In other words, what we had saved as a country from 1963 to 2023 was 320 billion. But in 2 years, we have multiplied our savings in 3 years, or 2 years actually, between 2023 and now, from 320 billion to 700 billion. Fire, see fire. Mr. President, colleagues, these are the general indicators: our rating, sovereign rating, our exchange rate, the strength of our currency, inflation. These are macroeconomic indicators of a stable economy, which is able now to develop other sectors. And there are many other things I can say about macroeconomic stability, but in the interest of time, I leave that performance indicator there. So look, if you are communicating about what this government has done, you can, for example, say we've stabilized the economy, we have a low inflation, a stronger shilling than before, we have, I even forgot the foreign exchange reserves, which we have multiplied from 5.7 billion US dollars in 2022. Today, Treasury has told us we are at 15.3 billion shillings, almost dollars, almost 7 months, 6+ months of import cover. The recommended cover is 3 months. So it means even if the economy of Kenya was shut for 7 months, we will not run out of foreign exchange. That is how serious that is. So these are the indicators of a strong macroeconomic environment. The World Bank has said it, IMF has said it, the credit rating agencies have said it. It is not the government of Kenya that is saying it. There are many other things, including inflows of FDI, foreign direct investment, which hit last year the highest in the history of our country, 3.2 billion US dollars. This is a report of the United Nations Conference on trade, UNCTAD. That is their report. So there are so many indicators, but allow me to leave that matter there. Number two, agriculture is the foundation of any economy, whether developing or developed. That is why agriculture sector is highly subsidized and highly protected anywhere in the world, including in the industrialized countries. They subsidize farmers, they subsidize agriculture because food security and a good agricultural base stabilizes the economy. So I want to just summarize what we have done to transform our agriculture, livestock, and fisheries sector, or blue economy sector, in this manner. Number one, when President Ruto was sworn in on 13 September 2022, we didn't have a good register of farmers. We only had 350,000 farmers in our records. Through his effort, we've been able to register all farmers. We have now a registry of 7.2 farmers across Kenya. We know where they are, what they grow, the kind of fertilizer they need, the acreage they have. So it helps us to plan our agricultural subsidy program and our support for our farmers. Registration of farmers is one thing that we've done. The other thing we've done, we've doubled production in our staple food, maize, for example, from 44 million bags in 2022 to last year's 75 million bags. And that has reduced our dependence on exports. Fire. But we have also increased our production of coffee, production of soya beans, edible oils, and so forth. And why that production of maize has gone up mainly is because of the subsidized fertilizer program. Again, this administration bring down the cost of major input in agriculture called fertilizer from a high of 7,000 shillings per 50 kilogram bag to 2,500 shillings over the last 4 years. And I am told that the president could also be considering other things, which he'll tell us when he's ready. So we are in a good place because of the fertilizer subsidy program. That subsidy program has increased our production in coffee, in tea, and so on. The other thing we've done around agriculture is our earnings from tea has improved from 138 billion in 2022 to last year's 215 billion shillings in terms of foreign exchange from tea production. Coffee also has done well. We have increased the size of land under coffee cultivation, and coffee now is fetching better prices. This is how you defend government. Coffee is, for those areas that are growing coffee, coffee is now fetching better prices from 60 shillings in 2022. Currently, it's between 120 to 160 per kilogram of cherry. But this has not just happened just like that. It is because of subsidized fertilizer, the elimination of cartels, streamlining of licensing, and all the reforms that His Excellency the President has led us in that space of coffee. Sugarcane is another area. We have made tremendous reforms in the sugar sector. We have new laws which bring in new governance in that sector. We have brought a very innovative and business-friendly production model. And we have now, slowly, we are returning the factories back into production, starting with the first four that we with, and the others are on course of resumption of production. Now workers are being paid when they deliver their cane, 7 to 10 days upon delivery. Farmers are being paid 7 to 10 days upon delivery of their cane. Workers are paid at the end of the month, and the factories are back into production. Production of sugar has increased tremendously from 472,000 metric tons in 2022 to 815,000 metric tons in 2025. Fire. And this is how you defend government in that sector around agriculture, crop production, and so forth. For the first time, Your Excellency, since sugarcane farming was introduced in Kenya in 1922, some 104 years ago, the sugarcane farmers around Mumias received a bonus last year. And we hope that you can hem in and work with the people in that space to make sure that that bonus becomes consistent and becomes an annual thing as a matter of course. That is what we are doing around agriculture. Livestock, our milk production has increased from 4.6 billion liters in 2022 to 5.3 billion liters last year. Our exports of milk products to East Africa and the rest of Africa has increased by 92%. And as the President announced, Africa now is the leading exporter of processed milk in Africa. Kenya is now the leading exporter of processed milk in Africa. We have transformed that dairy sector, but also in terms of the dairy sector. I see CS Mutai looking at me. I hope I am not underreporting. We have also, through the introduction of subsidized sexed semen, the President has spoken about sexed semen. That is the semen used for artificial insemination to make sure that our breeders get the right kind of breeds that give quality milk or that give quality dairy products. Again, this space of sex semen, we've reduced the price from 8,000 shillings per dose to just 1,400 shillings per dose. But we have also vaccinated 8.9 million out of our 22 million heads of cattle in Kenya. And we're in the process of making sure that we attain herd immunity so that our livestock products can be competitive in overseas markets, so that we get free from diseases that come when livestock is not vaccinated. We've done many other things. Let me rush to the blue economy. We are doing fish landing sites in the 5 counties at the coast, in the 5 counties around Lake Victoria. We started with around 7 fish landing sites. Now another 9 ground has been broken for another 9 fish landing sites to support our fish farmers around Lake Victoria and around the Indian Ocean. We are providing boats for our fisher folk. And these are small boats, but also we're in the process of acquiring speedboats for deep sea fishing to support the blue economy. We've just completed the Shimoni Fish Port 2.6 billion facility, and the other facilities for the blue economy, including the Center of Excellence that we are putting at Kabondo. Is it Kabondo? Kabonyo. At Kabonyo, which is a 1.3 billion project. It will support training and creating excellence for fish farmers. So blue economy, that's what we have done. Number 3, I'm running quickly now because of time, is the area of health. I don't need to repeat We've done a lot of heavy lifting in health. Your Excellency, allow me to salute the members of the National Assembly, the members of the Senate, for standing with you and with us, and with this administration, in passing the legislation that we required, some of the areas that required heavy lifting for us to deliver. Health is one of them. In the health sector, we started by partnering with county governments to employ CHPs, 107,000 of them, kitting them. And recently, when they visited you, Your Excellency, you said we are going to re-kit them again to replenish their kits, and also you are going also to put them under SHA so that they are insured as they offer health services to our communities. But we also have the National Equipment Support Program. We have also a very robust SHA registration program, which as at now is at 32.2 million Kenyans. We are moving towards universality, because that's what a universal health system looks like. When you have those kind of numbers, the kind of people with medical cover, you're moving towards universality. And so we've made some progress, good progress with equipment, with drug supply, with CHPs, and also if you visit any hospital today, and the COG spoke, they say the facilities now have reasonably higher revenues than they have ever had before. Some are now able to sustain themselves, including dispensaries. And therefore, UHC is on course. Once more, thank you very much, our two houses of parliament, for supporting us on this program. Your Excellency, we have also made progress in education in several fronts. Immediately you were sworn in, you set up the Education Task Force, which helped us to look at the reforms we need to do in this sector. What we have done so far includes streamlining the CBC curriculum, and now there is smooth transition. Right now we are in senior school, the pathways are defined, and the noise that was there in 2022 about too much work being done by parents has gone down. The uncertainty of that curriculum is now behind us. Number two, we have employed teachers, 100,000, reduced the teacher-student ratio from 1 to 45 to 1 to 29. But we have also something we have not captured in our statistics, Your Excellency, which is very impressive. Kenya is one of the few developing countries that have achieved a 1-to-1 pupil textbook ratio. It is not very common. So we need to capture that in our statistics, even as we go forward. We have employed also tutors for TVETs, 3,300 of them. We have built 23,000 classrooms. We have built reforms in the TVET sector, seeing enrollment rise from 297,000 in 2022 to currently over 718,000 students. We have introduced other reforms, including the recognition of prior learning that allows Juakali people to come in for shorter periods and get certified for what they already know, so that they don't waste time in a TTI for 4 years when they already have the knowledge. But we have also introduced the dual training policy, which enables students in TTIs to get practical experience. We have also reviewed our funding model, and that is work in progress, but right now we have a better funding model. We have a better budget for education. We found it at just below 500 billion. Now we have 64 billion shillings. 784 billion shillings for this year. University funding has risen from 45 billion shillings in 2022 to 82 billion shillings last year. Funding for Higher Education Loans Board, we have increased it from 17 billion shillings where we found it to last year's 41 billion shillings. Ni fire si fire. Tuendelee tusiendelee. So in the education sector, we've done a lot of things, and I think that is work in progress. Number 5, Public infrastructure. What have we achieved in the public infrastructure space? I'll run down through this very quickly. Number one, roads are stalled. Through a very innovative financing and resource mobilization program, the president was able to help us to unlock funding for stalled roads, and we have paid all contractors who had claims up to the end of last year. A total of 177 billion shillings have been paid to unlock the completion of over 6,000 kilometers of tarmac road, which had stalled way back in 2019. But we continue in this sector and say that we have the major highways. I don't want to repeat them. The Ronimau Summit is there. The famous road, which is the most emotional road for us as a country, the road connecting Isiolo and Mandera, because our brothers and sisters have been cut off for a very long time. Ile barabara ya rais, mnajua ile barabara? Itoke Mandera, ikuje Gare, itoke Gare, ikuje wapi? Ikuje, no sio Kobo, Duale, let me just summarize that that road is the single longest road project ever undertaken in independent Kenya. That is the longest single road project ever done in the history of Kenya, even before independence, because I don't think the colonialists built such a road. So, road sector on progress. We are dwelling. We've dwelled, if you go to Mombasa now, between Nyali towards Kilifi, duo, between Changamwe, Mariakani is duo, and Marwa to, Keno Marwa, and so forth and so on. And this roads program has really helped us. Electricity, we have connected a new 1.4 million households with electricity since 2022. And that is a big plus for us. We found connectivity at 8.9 million households. Now we are at 10.3 million households. Out of the total of 15.6 million households in Kenya, we are on course towards universal electrification in the next 3 or 4 years. So that's what we are doing for electricity. Other public infrastructure is ICT. We have built 35,000 new kilometers of fiber optic cable. We have built 316 ICT hubs to provide ICT infrastructure. And another 416 are under construction as we speak, bringing a total to over 700. We need to speed up. CS Kabogo, we need to speed up a little bit so that we can achieve the target of 1450 ICT hubs by next year. It is possible. But we've done a lot of work there, ICT hubs and so forth. And so I've talked about energy, ICT, I've talked about roads, I've talked about markets for fresh produce trade. We are doing nearly 600, over 450, and others in the pipeline, nearly 600 markets. I think CSR is, that's what she informed me. And I think we are providing dignity to Mama Mboga. We are providing dignity to our small-scale traders so that they can have dignified places to do their trade. So that is what we've done around infrastructure. Number 6, housing. You know, housing is one of the issues I've had some people commenting about. And unfortunately, some of the critics talking about housing have no idea how transformational, how critical housing is in lifting the standards of living of the people of Kenya. First, those who are saying that people should have money to build houses, I don't know what kind of economics is that. They must know the countries that we are looking up to, the countries that moved from the third world to first, had housing as a core pillar of that progression. And the reason why the government of Kenya must provide leadership in providing decent homes for Kenyans is because of the Constitution. The Constitution does not say, wait until the people of Kenya get money to build homes. It says the government must provide housing, water, health, and all the other amenities mentioned in Article 43. So we are respecting the Constitution. And the other questions around logistics and policy issues, the President answered very ably on our behalf. We can now defend this housing program. And colleagues, you have no idea what this will do. The more people you have owning homes, whether fully owned or partially owned through mortgages, the higher the national income index will go. So you are going to get shock in 5-10 years from now, when Kenya is rated in terms of per capita or gross national income. We are going to shoot. We are going to shoot tremendously, very high in the ranking. If you look at the countries that are always high in the gross national income index, countries where most citizens have homes or access to homes. That's what retains Singapore on top of that chart all the time. That is where Kenya is heading. And Your Excellency, 20 years, 15 years, 25 years, as you said, this country, many people will not recognize Kenya, and we will leap to where you want us to be among the family of developed nations. Because you see, when they do gross national income, they look at the wealth of households, the wealth that you have in a home. They count your camels and donkeys and sheep and sofa sets, and they aggregate, and then for the whole country. That one asset only called a home, the cheapest house is ₦1 million. One, just the cheapest, the bedsitter in Kibra or somewhere else, just 1 million plus. So that shows you the national wealth. By all these units that are ongoing, the national wealth is going to increase many times over. 2,077,000 units under construction in 44 counties, 240 active sites, 650,000 Kenyans employed, etc., etc. Number 7, I want to talk about security. We have made a lot of progress in security because when you came into office, Your Excellency, I was your Minister for Interior, and our police were not doing very well in terms of equipment. They were being overrun by bandit networks and terror groups all the time. But Your Excellency, you've supported our disciplined forces very strongly from day one through the equipment modernization program that has gone on seamlessly since 2023. And that is partly why we as a government have been able to subdue the terror attacks that were frequent, almost monthly, in the Boni Enclave around Lamu area. That is how we have pacified northeastern Kenya. That is how the banditry networks in the Kerio Valley have been silenced. I want to commend you, Your Excellency, for helping our security forces, our men and women in uniform, to defend our country, protect our territory, and also to be able to protect our property. So we have better equipment now. You have reviewed their salaries through your leadership. Now, every year, they are getting salary increment. We are building houses for them. Already 28,000 units are being constructed for prison officers. And our prison officers' population is around 30,000. So it's like every prison officer is going to have a decent home in the coming months, courtesy of President William Ruto. We are also building for the military, for the police, for teachers, and other civil servants. So again, security sector reforms, Your Excellency, you're continuing with that. Recently, through the Ministry of Interior, you were able to help us establish a Nairobi Metropolitan Police Unit and other formations that help us modernize this space. And I must commend my successor, Minister Kipchumba, because the little work that I had left in the Kerio Valley, I think he has completed it, and he did it faster than I would have done it myself. Because I think the mopping out of guns was one headache that I had before leaving that place. Number 8, Your Excellency, as I go towards winding up, is job creation, the creation of jobs. And before I do number 8, which is the last one on creation of jobs, I had forgotten, under public infrastructure, we cannot forget the stadia, the stadiums that we have built. We've built Talanta from scratch, the first new stadium, international new stadium since 1987. The last one was built in 1987, 39 years ago. We've not only built Talanta, but we have refurbished Kasarani and Nyayo. We have not only done that, but we have another 32 stadiums across the country. Again, very soon, Kenya is going to be a sporting nation of unimaginable magnitude because of all these sporting centers that are being created through the media. Your Excellency, in terms of job creation, under the Kazi kwa Ground program, the Affordable Housing Program and Markets and Hostels program has helped us employ 650,000 Kenyans. CS Mbadi, I agree with you, that data is old. We are now around 1 million. We need another assessment of job creation around that space. The other one is Kazi Mtandaoni. We have about 300,000 young people who are earning income from the digital jobs. I also suspect, Your Excellency, that data is old. That data has remained like that for the last 1.5 years. I think we need to do another assessment. With the opening of the BPOs, the Business Process Outsourcing Centers, and the increasing infrastructure of the ICT hubs, we have more Kenyans than the 300,000 that we had captured before. That is Kazi Mtandaoni. And Kazi Maju, 538,000 Kenyans who have been facilitated by this government to work abroad. How? Because you'll be asked, how have you done that? Through, number 1, deregistering exploitative agencies that were exploiting Kenyans, providing a transparent process through the National Employment Authority, removing cartels, I've already said that, but also giving a green channel for passport acquisition and subsidizing relocation grants through the Youth Enterprise Fund. These are some of the measures we've done. And of course, entering into bilateral labor agreements to protect our workers abroad. Then, Your Excellency, we have other job creation and income opportunities we've done. The key one is the Nyota project, which you recently helped us to launch phase 2 of the business support component, supporting 123,000 young people with 50,000 to start their small businesses. There are other components like the recognition of prior learning component, which is targeting 20,000 young people. We have the OJE on the job experience program, targeting 90,000 young people. And we have the access to government procurement program, targeting 600,000 young people. So aggregated, we've been able to create somewhere around in the region of 2-3 million jobs, directly, indirectly, in the last few years. Your Excellency, finally, let me also thank PCS Musalia, who has organized your very many international engagement forums, and they were worth it. I don't even know, Your Excellency, how you managed, because you were very busy in Kenya, but you were also very busy internationally to profile Kenya and project our country as a country where investors can have confidence in. And I want to thank PCS Musalia, the many engagements you've had, the many addresses you've made. I was very happy to see, for historical reasons, the European Parliament giving you a standing ovation. I was very happy to see the European Parliament giving a standing ovation to President William Ruto for historical reasons, isn't it? So, Your Excellency, that diplomatic push is good for us. It is what has brought us the investment, the FDI, and we continue supporting you as you lead us into the future, both in our engagement here and for you to engage on the behalf of our country. Allow me to end there, Your Excellency, by thanking everyone. First, I thank you. You have been a good team leader. You have treated us well, with respect, all of us. Our strength, our weaknesses, you have known how to manage, all of us. And nobody feels disrespected. Everybody feels that they are worthy and they are part and parcel of this administration. I also want to thank the party leader of ODM for leadership. And I believe, for those of you who think anything can go wrong, nothing can go wrong when we have President William Ruto and Senator Oburu Oginga. Nothing can go wrong. So let's not sensationalize issues. There's no problem, because the wisdom of President Ruto, the wisdom of Senator Oginga will help us navigate our future together, because we need another. We need one another. We need one another. So I just want to leave it at that, Your Excellency. I thank our governors and the Council of Governors. We've very hard, very cordial relationships. As the chairman has said, we treat each other with respect. The county governments treat the national government with respect. We also treat them with respect. And we've made a lot of progress in the areas that the chairman mentioned: agriculture, health. Made that progress because of the collegiality and the spirit of cooperation instead of confrontation. I also want to thank our senators, members of the National Assembly as well, for pushing forward our development agenda. I thank our MCAs in absentia, because they are the ones who have been helping with the legislative aspects of this agenda of the broad-based administration at the grassroots in the county assemblies. Lastly, I thank all members, the UDA party, and all the affiliates of Kenya Kwanza party, and all members of the ODM party for supporting the broad-based administration and for rallying themselves in support of President William Ruto. Once more, congratulations, President William Ruto. Congratulations, Senator Oginga. I rest my case, Your Excellency. Thank you very much.